This is really strange. It's brilliant. I'm delighted that there's Zoom by 9, but it's weird that it's silence because usually the energy in the room's so fab. Um, okay, I had to find my friend Maria so that I can look at her when I'm telling this story. So, Adam Clancy, he's so fancy. I gushed to my work colleagues, and all they heard from me for about 4 weeks was about Adam Clancy and how fantastic he was and how amazing he was. So this was on the day of my birthday, 2013, and that was a Thursday, and I took the Friday off because Adam came over to join me for my birthday and we were going to hang out. So rewind to when I met Adam. So back then I was living with my mate Karen, and Karen is most definitely short for carnage because our interests included drinking blue WKDs and ripping around Belfast terrorising men. To be honest, that was just me. Karen was terrorising the DJ, asking them to play Toto Africa, and it's like, Karen, they're playing progressive house and trap, shut up. You know? So we were on a night out on the Rampage, and we were in Love and Death, which was an extension of our living room in those days, and I was throwing fierce shapes on the dance floor, which in itself was courageous enough looking back on it. But I glanced across the dance floor and I seen this big tall fella, and I was pretty sure he was looking at me, and ended up shimmying my way across the dance floor and was dancing beside him, and he was dancing with me, and we were dancing together, and then we might have had a wee smooch, and he ended up coming back to mine, and he made scrambled eggs, which I thought was super cute, but now it's a bit weird. And Karen was back as well, and we were hanging out with him, having crack and having a ball, and he left at about 2 in the morning. He was doing a park run the next morning. So the next day, me and Karen were just gushing about like how class he was. Now, Adam Clancy, he lived in Liverpool, but he was studying in Belfast, and he had been living in Belfast up until last year, and then he lived in Liverpool and just kind of commuted across whenever he had to hand in assignments and whatever else. So I had been in, I love Liverpool, and I'd been in Liverpool to see in the new year that January. So of course it was fate. So it was. So yeah, so he was back in Liverpool, and he was like getting his flight that evening, and he texted me to kind of check in and see how I was. And I remember the excitement of getting that text message from him, and me and Karen were like, oh my God, he's so lovely, he's so perfect, like, you know, this is just the best, blah, 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 just gushing. So he came over to hand in an assignment 2 weeks later, and he hung out with me again, and me and Karen like just gave him the best time in Belfast ever. He was loving our crack, and he was loving like meeting my friends and whatever else. And my birthday was coming up, and Karen had said to him, you have to come over for Nuala's birthday. And actually he said he would come over, so it was just like, oh my God, like he's definitely the one, this is definitely happening. So as I said, I took the Friday off, and I went and lifted him from the airport on the Thursday, which was my birthday. He gave me a card with a lovely message inside it. Can't remember the full message, but it said something about being sassy, and I was just like, this guy totally gets me. Like, this is going somewhere. And that was grand. And then, he got me a present as well. He gave me drawing pencils and a sketchbook, which was nice because I like to draw. And then on the Friday, we were hanging out, and we had like a dander about Belfast, and we went for coffee, and he got a text message, and he was a wee bit agitated by the text message, but he didn't say anything. And then later on that evening, we were back in the house, and he said, look, I got a text from my ex, and it's just really weird because like she said she never wanted to hear from me again, like the last time I was talking to her. So like it's just really weird. I just can't believe she's texted me. And I said, well, what did she say? And she said, well, actually I should add in that my birthday is the day before Valentine's Day. So she was texting him on Valentine's Day. And I said, what did she say? And he said, she just said, you know, that she's really missing me and that she hopes I'm okay. And it's just like, I know what she's doing. She's feeling sorry for herself. It's Valentine's Day, but she's just playing with you. So that was fine. And I was kind of like, that's nice that she's thinking of you and maybe you can be friends. Well, I'm trying to be dead on. But meanwhile, my heart was sinking, just being like, this isn't as perfect as I thought it was. And I said to him, look, you know, if you want to go and like be with her and kind of do whatever you have to do, I do quite like you. But if this isn't going anywhere, then that's grand, you know, head on. And he said, no, I don't want to mess you about. You know, I'm here for your birthday and blah, blah, blah. And I want to hang out with you and I want to go out tomorrow night and meet all your friends and blah, blah. So that was fine. And we had a big night out arranged on the Saturday. All my friends from home were coming up to see on my birthday and to meet this wonderful Adam that they'd heard so much about over the past few weeks. So mates come up to Belfast and my wee cousin Ruthie came up from Dublin as well, and Ruthie's a hairdresser and she actually cut his hair, so she gave him like a lovely cool haircut, and he was just like, oh my god, your friends are so amazing. And I was wearing like my best outfit and I came into the living room and he's like, oh my god, you look so good and blah blah. And so I was thinking, oh, I can't remember his ex at this stage, like this is all going so well. Ex schmeck, it's all about Nuala. So that was fine. And then we headed to Love and Death again, throwing wild shapes again, having wild crack, and Adam's friends came out as well. And everybody was having a ball, and might have been a few shots had. Then I was looking across the dance floor and I couldn't see Adam. And like, as I say, he was a tall guy, so we stood out, couldn't see him anywhere. I went over to his mate Evan, was asking, have you seen Adam? And he says, no, I don't know where he is. So he wasn't there, checked like everywhere. And then I just thought, fuck, he maybe went home, maybe he's a bit sick. He's a wee bit of a lightweight, I should add. But sure, me and Karen were just at that stage, that was practically had a career in drinking. So I headed home, just slipped off, didn't say to anybody, went into the house, the door was open, and I thought, right, okay, he's here. Went up the stairs, and he was gone, and all his stuff was gone, and I was just like, what the fuck? So then I tried ringing him, and his phone just was straight to voice message. And now it was near the end of the night, it was maybe about like 1:30 or so too, and I rang my cousin. And I was like, where are you? And she's like, oh, we're just getting chips. And I was like, can you please come back? And she came back and I was like, Adam's gone. And then Karen came home and I was like, Adam's gone. And they were just like, where is he? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then I tried ringing Evan, his friend, and Evan was like, he's not here. I don't know where he is. And then I was actually really upset because obviously I was going to marry Adam and had this whole future together. So I was really distraught, and Karen and Ruth were brilliant, and they were just like, look, it's all right, like fucking whatever. So ended up like having a fairly restless night's sleep, and then the next morning I was just kind of feeling sorry for myself and thinking about it, and it was just like, what a dick, like, you know, just disappearing in the night. And it was like, bar his number, I've no means of contacting him. So it was like, you know, I'm fucking raging, like, he made an absolute dick out of me. So then I had the bright idea. I knew what flight he was leaving on. So I said, I'm going to go out to the airport. I'm going to look the shit in the eye. So I was delighted with this idea. And my cousin Ruthie just looked at me and was like, no, that's not a good idea. Don't do that. And then Karen just looked and said, yep, I know Nuala needs to do this. This is what she needs to do. Yep, I'm driving. So that was grand. His flight was like 9:30 that night. So we decided to get out to the airport super early to make sure we weren't going to miss him. I think we headed out about 7 in the evening. Karen drove. She drove a wee convertible Peugeot, like 206 at that stage. And we belted out the motorway, the Aldergrove. And it was like so exciting. We're like, you know, oh, right, definitely doing this. And it was like, this is definitely the right thing to do. So we went to the escalators that go up to departures and stood there for 2 hours. Well, it was actually about an hour and a half, and it was just like, oh my god, like, he better come. And it was like, I need this. I need like to look him in the eye. And but oh my god, everything, like, I wanted to vomit. I was sweating profusely. It was just like, oh my god, awful. But I could see the walkway, and I was just like looking, and I was just like, you know, he better come, he better come. And then at about 9 o'clock, I seen him. He was like coming towards the escalators in the walkway, and I just, calm as you like, walked over towards him and stared at him, and he kind of didn't see me for a while, and then it registered, and oh my God, I'll never forget the look in his face. It was literally like he'd seen a dead person. But to be fair, he thought he'd left me behind. Like, he thought the last he was going to see with me was across the dance floor in love and death. So I looked at him and stood there with my arms folded, and the girl stayed behind, watching the whole thing. And I said, well, Adam, how are you? And he was like, hi, hi, hi. And I said, where'd you go to last night? And he said, I went round my mates. And I said, round your mates, did you? And he said, yeah. And I said, no, you didn't. I said, your mate's Evan. I was talking to Evan. You were not in his house. You went round to your ex's, didn't you? And he's like, no, I was round my mates. And I said, I don't care where you went. I said, but you made an absolute dick out of me last night. And he said, no, I didn't. And I said, you don't get to decide that. I said, I had you in my house. I introduced you to all of my friends. You disappeared in the middle of the night. You made a dick out of me. And I said, and you sat there on Friday night and told me that you're a good person and you didn't want to mess me around. I said, you're a piece of shit. And I brought the presents that he gave me, and I gently dropped the card and the sketchbook and the pencils on the ground, and I said, you can have those back as well. And then I turned on my heels and walked out, and the girls turned to leave the airport with me as well, and they both looked at him and just shook their heads. And then we left the airport, and because it was February, it was dark, so I could see him. He literally like stood in the airport with his hands on his head, and then I had to bend down to pick up the stuff that he gave me. And then we were like whooping and shouting, rushing over to the car. We were like, Adam Clancy, he's not fucking fancy. And then we went home and had Chinese food, and it was amazing. There we go. Yay! Yay me for my story. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Nuala, for that magnificent story. I love the way you punctuate your stories every now and then with, so that was grand. So
yeah.
that was grand. No,
thanks for your time.
Isn't grand. You're telling us something, you're like, oh my God, that's terrible.